Let's talk about micro wins. Let's talk about ways that you can actually get yourself going. Most people, they're not action-oriented people. And you got to understand why human beings are wired a certain way. Number one, dopamine pathway. And so you can spend all your time planning everything. I'm going to plan everything. I'm going to make a nice little schedule and I'm going to set everything up. Listen, that doesn't work. Like, don't get me wrong. Planning's important. But what's more important is creating your environment that dictates how you behave. See, I've drawn this beautiful Picasso drawing for you to show you exactly how things are done, you know? So I call them micro wins. This is how it's done. Micro wins. So that is you. And you are within an environment. And your environment's really important. You know, listen, depending on where you live, what type of family you have, what type of friends you have, what type of partner you have, it all determines how you behave. It's a misconception. I'll get back to this in a second. It's a misconception that people think that we have true free will. What we have is a very predictable type of behavior that human beings have. And everybody has different behavior. You're wired a certain way. You got to figure out how you're wired. Your environment dictates how you behave. For example, myself, if I have a bag of cookies in front of me, those cookies are gone. There's no controlling me. I fucking eat it all. I eat everything. All of it. Out of sight, out of mind. If it's not in my house, I'm not going to eat it. It's very simple. It's binary for me. But I know myself. I know how I'm wired. And you got to figure out how you're wired. See how most people do it? They have this goal. Like, I'm going to plan this goal and write it all out. And they don't have any proper feedback right away to determine how they're doing in the goal. And this is why video games are so fucking successful, because it hits the dopamine pathway. You start getting addicted right away. You get a win. Oh, cool. This is amazing. And you go again and again. This rings a bell. This is called gambling. This is why gambling works. You get that high. It's like, shit, I won something. I want to do it again and again and again. Social media, they're like masters at this, like absolute masters. You can master this though. And so going back to my Picasso diagram, that is you. And this is your environment. And you have to be really careful of how you control your environment. You have to be careful of who's around you. You have to be careful of how you set your environment, everything, the whole aspect. Every aspect of your environment has to be conducive for success. And we'll get back to that in a second. The second thing is when you're creating your plan, most people make this long action item. No. That's not how it works in the dopamine pathway. What you need to figure out is the action needs to be a micro win. What is something so small that you can do today or this week that you get the small win so you get the dopamine? And that creates that feedback mechanism. The dopamine makes you happy. You get a high, like, I want to do this again and again and again, vis-a-vis social media, vis-a-vis gaming, vis-a-vis gambling. So if you can think from a gaming, gambling perspective, you can biohack and engineer your behavior for success. The whole notion of just like hustle like crazy and plan like crazy, think, no. We're biological creatures. And we know through cognitive science how we behave in certain environments. This is why I put it in this whole box, your environment. Because listen, guys, you can plan something out very nice. And if you don't have that right environment, it's not going to work. It's not going to work at all whatsoever. I'll give you an example myself. Before this whole COVID thing, I had a membership in a great gym, fantastic gym, state-of-the-art gym. It was about 20 minutes by the tube. How often do you think I went to that gym? Once a week. As opposed to I'm going to the gym across my house. I can throw a paper airplane. So I'm making sure my environment's conducive. My mind can rationalize just walking across the street. So it's about controlling your environment. Same thing when it goes to like, you want to start a business. Most people are like, oh, where do I start? What do I do? A simple thing can be like, start off with the lean canvas model. Second thing can be is like, reach out to one person, talk to that person. Remember, look at this, the micro wins. Like, if you're not doing micro wins, you're not getting that fucking dopamine, man. This is that sugar high. This is why we love sugar. We get that dopamine high. You need to get that dopamine high. You need to figure out, okay, how is my environment engineered? How is my house? How's my location? How is my family? How are my friends? How's everything? And if that's all messed up, you think your plan's going to work? Your plan's not going to fucking work. It might work 5%, but definitely it's not going to work. There's a reason why professional athletes go to fucking training camps. There's a reason why, if depending on what tech industry you're in, you go to fucking Silicon Valley. There's a reason why if you're in Wall Street, you go to New York. Proximity, environment. I can't stress how important environment is. And if you're just pretending or you're naive or you're ignorant that you think that you can just keep on doing what you're doing without having the proper environment for your success, it's not going to work. But once you figure out your environment, once you figure all of this shit out, then you can start figuring out how do you get those quick action plans. And that gets you the micro win, and that gets you the dopamine. Like, as simple as that. It's not that complicated. Most human beings like to complicate things, right? And it goes back to Aesop's fable, the fox and the grapes. We make stories, illogical stories in our mind, fallacies. We make excuses to justify why we're not doing something. Oh, it's that person's fault. Oh, I didn't get in time because of blah. Like, we just make up stupid fucking stories. When in reality, the only person that we can blame is ourselves. 99% of things in our life, it's our fault. There's a very small amount of things that it's not our fault, but the majority of things is our fault. And so I want you to really focus on your environment. I want you to make a checklist. If you haven't already, read The One Thing by Gary Keller, but make a checklist of things that you need to change in your environment today. It's going to be difficult, but that's what life's all about. So figure it out. How is your house in order? Is your relationship in order? What's happening with your family? What's happening with your spouse? And if these things aren't fixed first, you think any plan's going to work? No, it's not going to work, man. It's not. And that's the reality. So make that checklist. Figure out how you can engineer your environment so you can get these micro wins. And that's it. I'll keep this video short. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace out.